Chuck Schumer thinks rules don't apply to him on flight. Immediately gets taught huge lesson by Kara Curry for rwnofficial.com. I hope you're sitting down because it appears that Senator Chuck Schumer has once again demonstrated his hypocrisy, demonstrating by actions and words that he will and continues to take positions not out of any sort of principled conviction, but because he believes they will grant him political gain. Schumer has been an outspoken and vocal critic of President Donald Trump, as he has hammered the president on alleged ties to Russia and the election hacking scandal. Never one to suffer fools. President Trump also routinely calls Schumer out publicly via Twitter, as he is prone to do. In March of 2017, President Trump called for an immediate investigation into Schumer due to his ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin, calling him a hypocrite due to a picture of Putin and Schumer surfaced from 2003, published in the Associated Press. We should start an immediate investigation into Senator Schumer and his ties to Russia and Putin. A total hypocrite. Yeah, I remember that picture when Trump tweeted it in March of 2017. Schumer is currently responding to the recent political stunt pulled by Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and Special Counsel Robert Mueller with regards to the 12 indicted Russian intelligence operatives. Schumer demands that Trump demand that President Putin hand over the 12 Russians in question. You gotta laugh. Today, my colleagues and I are officially calling on you to demand President Putin hand over the 12 indicted Russian intelligence operatives that interfered in the 2016 election. Mark Warner, Donald Trump should either cancel the Putin summit or show up with a plan and the team needed to hold Putin accountable. No one-on-one meetings, no letting him off the hook. Don't wing it. Yet there are significant questions regarding the indictments, as investigative journalist Paul Sperry notes. Another strange Russian indictment by Mueller. No arrests, no American co-conspirators, no seizure of servers or property, no raids and no sourcing, no informants or witnesses named, nothing attributed to the intercepts. In fact, none of the findings are attributed not even to an FBI agent. There's Paul Sperry's tweet. He continued, did Mueller leave out the sourcing for his evidence in Russia hacking indictments because it's merely CrowdStrike, the Democrat cybersecurity shop? Did CrowdStrike supplement the forensics in the absence of the DNC server? FBI and Mueller never seized, so Quantico could examine it? No, they never. CrowdStrike said that they had examined the server and that it was A-OK. Schumer has also launched a campaign to block the nomination of President Trump's most recent Supreme Court appointment, Brett Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh has been chosen to take the place of retiring Justice Anthony Kennedy. Schumer tweeted his opposition just after the announcement of Kavanaugh's appointment had been made, stating, I will oppose Judge Kavanaugh's nomination with everything I have, and I hope a bipartisan majority will do the same. The stakes are simply too high for anything less. Unbelievable. Yeah, during the prior administration, Schumer spoke out against what he termed as obstructionist behavior, or Republican senators' plans to filibuster former President Barack Obama's Supreme Court pick to replace deceased Justice Anton Scalia. Speaking to ABC's this week, Schumer stated virtually the opposite of what he is stating regarding the confirmation of Kavanaugh. Schumer stated, well, the job first and foremost is for the president to nominate and for the Senate to hold hearings and go through the process. You know, the Constitution, Ted Cruz holds the Constitution. You know, when he walks through the halls of Congress, let him show me the clause that says president's only president for 3 years. Here, he doesn't even know who the president's going to propose, and he said, no, we're not having hearings. We're not going to go forward to lead the Supreme Court vacant at 300 days in a divided time. This kind of obstructionism isn't going to last, and you know we Democrats will do this. When we voted 97-0 for Justice Kennedy in the last year of Reagan's term. For the record, Schumer's last statement is highly misleading in that the only reason Kennedy was nominated in the last year of Reagan's term was that Senate Democrats blocked and voted down his first 2 choices the year prior. Schumer also took a similar stance to his current stance on Kavanaugh 9 years ago. At the time, he went out of his way to make sure the George W. Bush administration knew of his plans to filibuster any Supreme Court nominee they put forth of the next 2 years because the ideologies of the prior nominees did not align with his own. In a speech given on July 27, 2007, Schumer stated, "We should not confirm any Bush nominee to the Supreme Court except in extraordinary circumstances. They must prove by action, not words, that they are in the mainstream, rather than we have to prove they are not." Eddie tweeted here, Senator Chuck Schumer calls a flight attendant who told him to turn off his cell phone a bitch. Where is the outrage calling a woman doing her job a bitch? Where is all the feminist outrage? You all drag stuff up from 20 years ago. I might add to that 30 with what took place with Jim Jordan. This was only 9 years ago, right? Why not? The feminists should be outraged, shouldn't they? Where are they? Where's the outrage for that? Apparently, Schumer objected to a 300-day delay in appointing a justice. He was perfectly fine filibustering a Supreme Court nominee for 543 days. Yet, not only is Schumer a hypocrite, he also believes the rules simply do not apply to him. Schumer was flying with his political protege, Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, on a U.S. Airways flight from LaGuardia Airport to Washington. Both Schumer and Gillibrand were talking on their cell phones while the plane was boarding and continued to do even after the plane's captain made the announcement for passengers to turn them off. The 2 senators simply ignored the announcement and continued to talk on their phones. This prompted a flight attendant to politely ask the 2 senators to simply follow the Federal Aviation Administration rules and simply turn their phones off, as all the other passengers on the plane had already done. Well, according to a House Republican aide who was also on the flight and seated nearby, Schumer demanded to finish his call. The flight attendant told him no, because the entire plane was waiting on him to shut his phone off in accordance with the FAA regulations so they could take off. He was holding up the entire flight. Schumer then ended the call, but promptly began to rage at the flight attendant, proclaiming he was entitled to continue his phone conversation until the cabin door was closed. Paul Baldwin, priceless. This was in 2017. At Vichy True, U.S. Airways flight attendant told Chuck Schumer she doesn't make the rules, she just followed them. The aide then responded to Schumer's ridiculous antics, stating she said that doesn't make the rules. She doesn't make the rules. She just follows them. And she walked away. Schumer was heard muttering, "Bitch." Rather than being embarrassed for Schumer's sanctimonious and pretentious outbursts, Gillibrand attempted to cover for Schumer. She initially claimed the senior senator was polite and that he turned off his phone when asked to. Yeah, right. Once the story of the true version of the events was made public, circulating the news, Gillibrand's office made a second statement with a correction. Brian Fallon, a spokesman for Schumer, said later that the senator made an off-the-cuff comment under his breath that he shouldn't have made, and he regrets it. Gillibrand's aide, Glenn Kaplan, said Chuck did the right thing by apologizing. The flight attendant accepted his apology, but also stated Schumer had a reputation that precedes him. He is not nice. After the incident, Schumer was very critical and extremely vocal, condemning Republicans for trying to score cheap political points from the incident. Yet, as evidenced by Schumer's own words and actions, that this seems to be his issue, not that of a flight attendant or Supreme Court justice nominee, the Russians, or President Trump. Schumer is too busy playing political games and pandering to this or that special interest group, as well as adding commas and zeros to his own personal bank accounts, than he is in effectively serving the people that elected him to Washington. Schumer, your hypocrisy is showing again, and you might want to tuck that back in. Well, you see, yeah, it's only 9 years ago that this happened. Why are we allowed to go after Republicans for something that's 30 years old? I don't even remember with the Alabama guy, Roy Moore. They went, I think, 30 or 40 years back. So this is only 9. I mean, look, Schumer, he's used to getting his ways. Yeah. He's a Soros shill. That's why his bank account is going up. And we're just sick of his attitude. And he thinks he still rules. But, he didn't get the memo that nobody cares what Schumer has to say. Nobody cares what Schumer thinks. How about that? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.